Picture this. January 24th, 1848. A quiet day at Sutter's Mill near Coloma, California. A carpenter named James W. Marshall is inspecting a ditch when something shiny catches his eye. He picks it up. It's not just a pretty rock, it's gold. And just like that, with that one small discovery, the course of American history was about to change forever. Initially, Marshall and his boss, John Sutter, tried to keep their find a secret. They knew that if word got out, their quiet lumber operations would be completely disrupted. But you know how secrets are, especially when they're this valuable. They have a way of getting out. And boy, did this one get out. The news first spread locally. Workers left their jobs, farmers abandoned their fields, and soldiers deserted their posts, all with one thing on their mind: gold. Then a storekeeper in San Francisco named Sam Brannan saw an opportunity. He stocked his shop with prospecting supplies, then ran through the streets, holding a bottle full of gold dust and shouting, "Gold! Gold!" Gold from the American River. The local rush was on. But it was President James K. Polk who really kicked things into high gear. In his address to Congress in December of 1848, he officially confirmed the discovery of vast quantities of gold in California. That's when the news went global. Suddenly, people from every corner of the earth were dreaming of California. This sparked one of the largest mass migrations in American history. These hopeful prospectors, who became known as 49ers, because they started arriving in droves in 1849, came from everywhere. They came from the east coast of the United States, from Mexico, from Chile, from Europe, and even from as far away as China. Getting to California was an epic journey itself. Some traveled overland, a grueling, month-long trek across rugged mountains and vast deserts. They faced disease, starvation, and attacks. Others chose the sea route. They could either sail all the way around the tip of South America, a journey that could take up to 8 months, or sail to Panama, cross the disease-ridden isthmus by foot and canoe, and then wait for another ship on the Pacific side. No matter which route they chose, it was a dangerous and expensive gamble. But the dream of striking it rich was a powerful motivator. Before the gold rush, California was a sparsely populated territory. This massive influx of people created boom towns that seemed to spring up out of nowhere. Places like Sacramento and Placerville and Sonora went from being non-existent to sprawling camps filled with tents, shacks, and a few hastily constructed wooden buildings. These towns were rough and lawless places, often with a saloon on every corner. But they were also centers of commerce where miners could buy supplies, get a hot meal, and maybe spend some of their hard-earned gold dust. Life for the average 49er was incredibly difficult. The work itself was backbreaking. Early on, gold could be found easily in streams and riverbeds using simple tools like pans, rockers, and sluice boxes. This was called placer mining. A miner would spend all day, from sunrise to sunset, standing in freezing cold water, sifting through sand and gravel for those precious yellow flakes. It was tedious, uncomfortable, and often unrewarding. For every story of a miner striking it rich, there were thousands who found little to nothing. And the challenges didn't stop with the hard labor. Inflation was rampant. The cost of basic necessities skyrocketed. A single egg could cost the equivalent of what a dozen would cost back east. A shovel, a pickaxe, a loaf of bread, everything was outrageously expensive. Many miners found that any gold they managed to find was immediately spent just to survive. Disease was also a constant threat. Poor sanitation, contaminated water, and crowded living conditions led to outbreaks of cholera, dysentery, and scurvy. Medical care was primitive and often unavailable. Many who had survived the perilous journey to California ended up succumbing to illness in the gold fields. On top of all that, the mining camps were not exactly models of social harmony. Tensions ran high between different groups of miners. American miners often felt they had a greater right to the gold and used intimidation and violence to drive out foreign miners, especially those from Latin America and China. Discriminatory laws like the foreign miners tax were enacted to push out competition. Yet, despite all these hardships, the gold rush also presented incredible opportunities, and not just for the miners. In fact, many of the people who became truly wealthy during the gold rush never swung a pickaxe at all. They were the entrepreneurs, the merchants, the people who supplied the miners. Think about it. All those thousands of miners needed food, tools, clothing, and housing. People like Levi Strauss saw a need for durable pants for miners and ended up creating the world's first blue jeans. Men like Philip Armour and John Studebaker got their start selling supplies and wagons to prospectors before going on to build their own industrial empires. Sam Brannan, the man who first shouted gold in the streets of San Francisco, became California's first millionaire by selling mining supplies at hugely inflated prices. He was buying shovels for 20 cents and selling them for $15. The real gold mine, for many, was mining the miners. The gold rush also dramatically accelerated California's path to statehood. The huge population boom and the economic explosion meant that California could remain a simple territory for long. A constitutional convention was held in 1849 and in 1850 as part of the Compromise of 1850. California was admitted to the Union as the 31st state. A free state, which had major implications for the growing national debate over slavery. The environmental impact was also staggering. Placer mining washed tons of sediment into rivers, choking them and causing widespread flooding. Later, as the easily accessible gold disappeared, more destructive methods like hydraulic mining were introduced. This involved blasting hillsides with high-pressure water cannons, which devastated entire landscapes, destroyed habitats, and sent toxic mercury used in the process flowing into the water systems. The scars of hydraulic mining are still visible in parts of California today. The gold rush also had a devastating effect on the Native American populations of California. Their lands were overrun, their food sources destroyed, and they were subjected to violence and disease. The arrival of hundreds of thousands of outsiders led to a catastrophic decline in the Native American population, a tragic and often overlooked chapter of this period. By the mid-1850s, the gold rush was largely over for the individual prospector. The surface-level gold was gone, and mining became a corporate enterprise requiring massive capital investment for hydraulic and hard rock mining. Many of the 49ers went home, often with less money than they started with. Others stayed in California, becoming farmers, ranchers, or city dwellers, helping to build the foundations of the new state. So, what is the ultimate legacy of the California gold rush? It's a complex story of dreams and desperation, of incredible wealth and profound loss. It was a catalyst that transformed a remote territory into a dynamic state, accelerated America's westward expansion, and fueled its economy. It created a multicultural society built on ambition and risk. It's a story that embodies the American dream, with all its promise and all its pitfalls. The rush for gold may have ended, but its impact on California and the United States continues to echo to this day. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story of fortune and fate interesting, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into history. Let me know in the comments what you think is the most surprising part of the gold rush story. See you in the next video.